This is it. Don't get scared now.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
My goal next year will be to see 100 movies in the theaters.
The MoviePass pod is not affiliated or sponsored by MoviePass in any way. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the MoviePass pod, the unofficial podcast of MoviePass. We're a father and son team. We're going to try and watch 100 movies in the theaters with the help of MoviePass. I'm the father on the father and son team, Keith.
And I'm the son on the father and son team, Noah.
Just to recap real quick, so we do have a few self-imposed rules. We're going to try and watch 100 movies in theaters from January 1st to December 31st, 2018, with the help of MoviePass. Now, these movies can be released in 2017, and actually all the movies we're talking about today will have been released in 2017. But we just have to watch them during the calendar year of 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the time you hear this, we're also going to delete episode 1, because it's pretty bad.
Yeah, looking back on it, we didn't instate the rules. We don't know what the hell's going on, so we're just going to ditch it.
Yeah, we'll save it for prosperity, and then if people actually do start listening to this podcast, maybe we'll add it later, as kind of a nostalgic thing.
Yeah, exactly. To go over the formula of the podcast really quick, basically it's the MoviePass pod, so we're going to be talking about theatrical releases. But before we get into any of that, we're going to have a Stuff We Saw segment, basically where we talk about things that we've been indulging in between each podcast.
Those can also include movies towards the goal of the 100. Mm-hmm. Because we're only going to talk about 1 or 2 movies in the main event.
Exactly. So, if you do the math, obviously, if we only talk about 1 or 2 movies every 2 weeks or every 1 week, that's not going to add up to 100. So, tallying towards the 100, we'll be talking about them in the Stuff We Saw segment. And then after that, we might have a quick little news segment regarding MoviePass or whatever. And then we will go into the main event, which will be the big theatrical movie that we both watched, and we'll be talking about them.
Yeah, because we don't live together, and we have different schedules, and a bunch of other stuff is in play. We're just 2 regular guys who love movies. We're not critics or anything. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, I know some critics watch hundreds of movies a year. In fact, I listened to a podcast with a critic, and he saw 350 movies last year. But that's his job. We have regular jobs, and we're just regular people. So watching 100 movies in theaters is not something easily done.
Yeah.
For us.
Unless you have MoviePass. Please sponsor us, MoviePass. Okay, so, yeah, I guess, do you want to just get into Stuff We Saw?
Sure. One thing I wanted to talk about, this isn't technically a movie, but it's a TV show on Netflix. It's a docuseries called The Toys That Made Us. It's an excellent show. There's 4 episodes so far. Netflix did announce that they were going to release 4 more. I don't know if there's a date set for that yet, but on each episode, they chronicle one specific kind of toy. So the 4 episodes so far, they talked about Star Wars, Barbie, He-Man, and G.I. Joe. And as a child of the 80s, those are the 4 big toys by far. I mean, I grew up on...
He-Man?
He-Man, yeah. I had a huge He-Man collection. And watching that episode, it was crazy because I had all those toys. So I must have spent every dime I had. And and every Easter, birthday, Christmas, I must have just asked for He-Man toys.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still have some of the He-Man toys that you passed down to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's crazy if you watch that episode on He-Man. Like, I never realized this when you were a kid, but they just came up with these ridiculous names for toys just to see if they could get by. There was a guy who was soft and covered in green, soft material, and his name was Moss Man. There's this guy whose head and torso extended, and his name is Extendar. That's so
That's
stupid.
Funny. Yeah.
The funny thing, too, about that show is that I collected He-Man, and I had two best friends, Jonathan and Tom. Jonathan collected G.I. Joe, so I was very familiar with G.I. Joe, and Tom collected Star Wars, which I'm really into now, but I wasn't a big Star Wars collector, but I was very familiar with all those toys. And I never got familiar with Barbie because I didn't have a sister or anything like that, but obviously everyone's aware of Barbie.
Yeah. So what is it basically? Is it like a documentary?
It's a documentary. Each episode chronicles one toy, and they're about 45 minutes to an hour long.
Uh-huh.
And they just talk about the history. They go through. They do it chronologically, so they talk about when it was birthed, to throughout the time.
Does it interview like the people
there's a
that
lot
were
of
involved?
interviews. Yep, from the creators. It's really fascinating. Like they talked about how George Lucas couldn't get any toy company to sign on to Star Wars because everyone thought it was a ridiculous idea. So finally, this company that nobody heard of, Kenner, gave him this terrible deal where he got paid like 2.5 cents for every dollar of the toys that were sold.
Gosh.
So Kenner made tons of money off the Star Wars toys.
Wow. I assume he's still made quite a little fortune at least.
Yeah, and then, once Hasbro took it over, and then actually the contract lapsed, which was a huge mistake. And so he was able to renegotiate, and that's when he started making tons of money.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's a funny thing about Star Wars A New Hope, because adjusting for inflation, that's still the highest grossing Star Wars movie, at least domestically.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So that was the stuff, or the toys that made us, and it's on Netflix. I also saw John Wick 2, which I talked about John Wick on the last episode, and I liked it quite a bit. I didn't like it as well as the first one, though. Mm-hmm. I just didn't feel like the action was shot as well, I guess you could say. In the first one,
was it like shaky cam?
it wasn't shaky cam, no. It's just, in the first one, the action was more close up, which sometimes is confusing, but the way they shot it, it's not at all. You can 100% what's going on. And in this one, you can see Keanu Reeves' age, because it's shot from further away.
Yeah.
And he's like 50-something, but he's still in great shape. But you can just see the movements just weren't as crisp and fast as the first one. So I will say I really enjoyed it. There's no plot like the first one, which is fine. I mean, nobody watches a John Wick movie for the plot, but I do still highly recommend it. I just didn't like it as much as the first one. And it's not really a spoiler. I'll just say that it ended on a huge cliffhanger. So I'm definitely looking forward to John Wick 3, which there definitely will be.
When did John Wick 2 come out?
February 2017.
Oh, okay.
Actually, they just announced a TV show, too.
Wow.
Keanu Reeves isn't going to be the focus of it, though.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be, he's going to be on the show, but it's going to be about the hotel. The hotel is like a big central theme on the show, or in the movies if you watched them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I wanted to watch the first and the second.
Yeah.
Just from your recommendation.
Also, towards my 100 goal, I watched The Shape of Water. I love Guillermo del Toro. Devil's Backbone, Pan's Labyrinth, Pacific Rim. I even like Crimson Peak, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I like that movie. Especially the cinematography. It's beautiful. But I think that Shape of Water is his best movie ever.
Wow, really?
I absolutely loved it. And there's a performance in it that nobody's really talking about, which is Michael Shannon, but he is so deliciously evil. He steals every scene that he's in. And I loved all the performances, too. Sally Hawkins, Richard Jenkins, they've both been nominated for several awards. Octavia Spencer, everyone is just so excellent in it.
I saw the trailer. What? So it's like some weird romance between a fish monster thing?
Yep, it's a fish man and Sally Hawkins. It's a romance between them. That's what it's about.
Uh-huh.
On a different podcast, Christy Puchko, I want to make sure I give her credit. I forget what site she works for. She's a writer. She reviews movies and TV shows and stuff. Anyways, she had a great interpretation of it. This is like a modern Frankenstein.
Uh-huh.
Because if you watch the original Frankenstein, he was a very gentle monster.
Uh-huh.
But he did bad things without knowing it.
Yeah.
And so he was misunderstood. And that's exactly what this fish man is.
Huh.
There's a little bit of a spoiler here. In fact, maybe I won't say it.
Yeah,
if you want to watch it. Okay,
yeah,
maybe we'll talk about it next week. There's a really there's a lot of crazy scenes in it.
Uh-huh.
Guillermo del Toro just, he has enough juice now. Nobody's going to tell him what to do. And he just went nuts with this movie. I loved it.
Huh.
And he won the Golden Globe Best Director, and I hope that he wins Best Director at the Oscars. Although there is several of the movies that I haven't seen yet, but
Yeah.
I'll be pulling for him. Especially because, I don't know if you saw his acceptance speech.
No,
but
I didn't.
they were running late, of course, so he goes up there, and after like 30 seconds, they start playing the music, and he goes, no, I've been waiting 25 years for this. I'm going to talk. Turn the music off. And they turned it off for like 10 seconds, and they turned it back on.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
So that was The Shape of Water. That's in theaters now. Oh, I also wanted to mention that it's incredible that he shot it on a $20 million budget, because you could not tell.
Wow.
Yeah. The only thing that's... when you go back and... when you're watching it, you don't notice it, but it's shot in very limited locations, so I think that's how he saved a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's... the special effects, everything, you cannot tell it's a low budget.
Wow.
I mean, not that 20 million is like, $1 million, but it's still... that kind of movie, 80 or 100 million easy. That's what I thought it would be.
Wow, I'm definitely looking forward to that then.
Yep. Also towards the 100, I watched Molly's Game, the directorial debut of Aaron Sorkin, who I'm a big fan of. I love Steve Jobs and Social Network, but he's never directed a movie before. This is, as I said...
He's only written screenplays.
Yep, that's what he's known for, screenplay writing. So he wrote and directed this movie.
Was there a lot of walking and talking?
There was a lot of talking in it, yeah. But it's a poker movie, and I love poker.
Uh-huh.
That was one of the big reasons I wanted to watch it. It's based on a book by Molly Bloom. She used to run high stakes.
Story?
It's based on a true story, yeah. And I'm gonna get to that in a second, but so it's based on Molly Bloom's book. She used to run high stakes poker games in Hollywood and New York with all these celebrities: DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire. They're well known now, but she got shut down by the FBI, and you can see all this stuff in the. It's on Wikipedia if you don't want to watch the movie. So here's my problem with biopics. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I'll just say that there's stuff in the movie, and I don't want to call her a liar. I don't know, okay?
Yeah.
But there's stuff that only she knows about that happened to her.
That seems a little...
Yeah, she didn't report it to the police. She didn't even tell anybody about it, not her friends, nobody. And she wrote about in the book that are like crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe it happened, I don't know. But it takes me out of the movie because I'm watching one person's story.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it's real.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where like she conveniently waits until this book comes out that she can make a lot of money on.
Yeah.
To write the crazy stuff.
Yep. That's they made her in the movie seem like an angel, and she's not. It's pretty clear she's not.
Funny.
People were like calling her role models and stuff.
Oof.
So anyways,
in the movie?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So I liked the movie. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. 2.5, I don't like it. 3 stars, I like it barely.
Yeah.
So I did like it, but it's a little bit long. Aaron Sorkin. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Probably could have been clipped down to 2 hours, and it would have been a lot tighter.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's what he's known for, tight scripts,
Yeah.
So, maybe, like Guillermo del Toro, he has a lot of Hollywood juice, too. So, nobody was really going to tell him, hey, Aaron, cut this down.
Yeah.
But, if you like biopics and you like poker, there's a lot of poker in it, which was great.
Cool.
I would recommend it. So,
yeah.
I think I might actually read her book, too, just to see how it is.
Yeah.
Cool. So, that's what I've been watching. Noah, we want to talk about a couple things?
Yeah, sure. I guess speaking of movies that could have been cut down, I saw Blade Runner 2049.
Too long?
It's 2 hours and 44 minutes long. I mean, it's almost the length of a Lord of the Rings movie.
I haven't seen that yet, so...
Yeah. But you have seen the original Blade Runner, right?
Yep.
We both agree on this. The original Blade Runner, overrated?
I think it's overrated, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a couple years.
I saw it recently in preparation for the sequel.
Hot take alert.
Yeah, I know. People rave about that movie. It's a cult classic.
Some people think it's the greatest movie of all time.
Of all time,
I mean,
yeah. And I went into it thinking those things. Like, okay, this is going to be a cool cyberpunk, futuristic, noir cop movie. And in some aspects, it was that. This is still the original I'm talking about. In some aspects, it was that. We have Detective Deckard going around hunting down these replicants. But it was also really weird. Like the last climactic third act with the leader replicant where he's doing all the flips and the acrobats and whatever. And then there's that scene with all the toys. I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, I liked Harrison Ford's performance, but
yeah,
I don't know. However, Blade Runner 2049 I thought was way better. The director, I can't remember his name.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce that.
I only know that from listening to a lot of podcasts.
I thought he did a great job. The movie sounds great. It looks great. I don't know if you've seen some stills where like the whole screen is just one color. Like it's just all
I've
yellow.
heard that.
Or it's all purple or pink. And it looks amazing, honestly. It looks great. It's beautiful. The soundtrack is great. And the story, reminiscent of the first one, is better, in my opinion, because in the first one, it's kind of soul-searchy. Deckard meets this replicant, and he kind of falls in love with her or whatever. And then in the sequel, I mean, spoilers for all of this, you haven't seen it yet, so
No.
maybe I won't give... I won't give anything away, actually. But basically, the main guy, Ryan
Gosling. Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, he's soul-searching in it. Like, he has this, like, virtual... like quote unquote girlfriend or lover or whatever. Like she's not real. She's an AI, kind of like Her, the movie Her, and it's basically soul searchy. Like he's tasked to hunt down replicants, and then he meets these replicants and they tell him things like, oh, you haven't seen a miracle. You're just working for the dogs or whatever. And he has to go on a soul search, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure what else to say, but I definitely thought it was a lot better than the original, in my opinion.
Now, I'm really looking forward to it. I love Denis Villeneuve. Prisoners, Sicario, with the sequels coming out in a few months. He didn't direct it, but Arrival. I love Arrival.
Yeah, Arrival was great. So, but the only problem is, like I said, it's 2 hours and 44 minutes long. So there might be parts where you doze off or whatever.
It's on a lot of critics' top 10 lists, so it didn't do that well at the box office, but I know a lot of people who actually saw it really liked it.
Yeah. People love this movie, and I mean, I liked it. In terms of, like, length, there were definitely scenes you're watching where it's, like, long, drawn-out silence. Like, just silence for, like, 60 seconds straight, and it's like, come on, get to the point here.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'd say if it got cut down... Oh, yeah, Harrison Ford's performance... They definitely didn't negotiate good pay terms because he doesn't have a lot of dialogue.
No.
Maybe that's
he always brings it though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even in stuff you don't expect,
Yeah. But I mean, Harrison Ford was good, even though he didn't talk a lot. Whatever. I'd say I recommend it. If you like the original Blade Runner, you'll like this one. It's very reminiscent. If you didn't like the original, it's half and half. But I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't hate the original Blade Runner. I like it, but I just don't.
Yeah, I didn't
hate
hate
it
it either.
Masterpiece. Hot take alert.
I know.
Have you been watching anything else?
Yeah. I watched Edge of Tomorrow for the first time.
Also known as Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah.
So they're making the sequel for that too.
Did they actually change the name? Because
They
on
did.
Letterboxd it just says Edge of Tomorrow still.
Does it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check IMDb right now.
Okay, sure. But yeah, I saw Edge of Tomorrow, and like years ago, I saw Source Code, and I love Source Code. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
And this is basically just a more action-y version of Source Code. I liked it a lot.
Okay, so the IMDb does have it Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the sequel is called Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
Huh.
So,
Yeah, I guess I think that's just the name of the sequel, because the original is still called Edge of Tomorrow. I won't go too in-depth about it since it's an older movie, but like I said, I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
I wonder if it's on hold though. I don't see it in Tom Cruise's filmography upcoming. So and he's pretty.
Is it coming out this year?
No. They haven't even started shooting it yet.
Yeah, so I assume that's why. But I also love Tom Cruise. Like, I love him in Mission Impossible. I mean, his personal life, we won't get into that. But as an actor, he's great. And he was great in this, too. Someone once said that Tom Cruise is really good for running, looking serious. And he does that in this movie as well.
And Minority Report.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was really good. I don't remember the name of the lead female actor.
Oh, Emily Blunt. Yeah,
she's good.
Yep.
She's good in it.
Yeah, I really like that movie too. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but yeah,
great concept. Yeah, so that was good.
Really original concept. Yeah.
Well,
not
except for
really?
source code.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I know
so.
it's a different. Is that
the same director?
I don't know. It's a different goal, but it's a different.
I know Doug Liman directed it.
It's the same premise, you know.
Yeah.
You die, it repeats.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the whole war aspect is original, but yeah, I loved it. I really liked it. I give it 4 stars. It's great. And then another brief mention, I saw Laser Team 2. Now, you know nothing about Rooster Teeth, basically.
No, I'm aware of them and I'm aware of those movies, but that's about it.
Yeah. I love Rooster Teeth, and a lot of people rave about them. Like, they put out all kinds of web series that get millions of views all the time. I saw the original Laser Team as well a while ago when it came out. It was okay. Because I like Rooster Teeth and the people that make it, I thought it was pretty funny. It was okay. The second one, however...
what are they about? Just brief synopsis.
Yeah, I guess I should talk about what they're about. Okay, so Laser Team, basically the premise is these aliens go around the galaxy and they send this armor to specific planets, and you have 1 year to put on the armor and train, and then the alien race comes down to your planet and you have to fight them. And if you lose, they destroy your planet, and if you win...
Are these live action or
They're live action.
Okay.
Live action. And
but they're very low budget though, right?
Yeah, very low budget. The original only had a budget of like $1 million.
Okay.
And this one was probably less. And so what you're supposed to do is one person puts on the whole armor, but these 4 band of like idiots accidentally, like hillbilly idiots, accidentally stumble upon the armor, and they each put on one piece. And so they're a team, a laser team, and they each, like, one guy has an arm cannon, one guy has like a shield, one guy's boots, a helmet, whatever. And basically the military has to train these 4 idiots to fight the alien race or whatever. That was the premise of the first one. The premise of the second one, it was really kind of shoddy. Like, the plot wasn't very cohesive. Basically, one of the members of the team gets sucked into this like alien wormhole portal thing, and then the rest of the team have to go and find him. And then they go and find him, and then they bring him back, basically. I mean, not that much happens in it. I gave it like 2.5 stars, just because I like Rooster Teeth and I like what they make. No. But honestly,
it's probably not even worth 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd give it a recommendation.
I've done that too. Sometimes I give things higher rating just for nostalgia reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
then they should be.
Yeah, and the only way you can watch Laser Team or Laser Team 2, I think, is actually through YouTube Red, which I have.
Okay. Yeah.
So even if you wanted to watch it, you have to get YouTube Red. But I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't recommend it. I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I saw in between our podcasts was Lady Bird, which I know was released in 2017, whatever. But technically it's still showing in theaters. And you definitely loved it.
Yep. I gave it 4 stars. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It will be in my top 10. It's in, like, it's, you know, it had the Rotten Tomatoes record for the highest 100% until that jackass gave it a negative review. Just he's done that with other movies too. Toy Story 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know why Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, Lady Bird had the most positive reviews in Rotten Tomatoes ever. It broke. I don't know if it was Toy Story 3's record or one of those movies. Anyways, so one guy said that he admitted that he liked it, but he didn't think it was good enough to get that record. So he purposely gave it a bad review. I don't know. He's a huge internet troll. I forget his name, but I don't know why Rotten Tomatoes allows him to do this, because he admitted he liked it. He did this with Toy Story 2, too. Toy Story 2 at 100%, and he gave it a negative because even though he liked it, he didn't think it was that
That's
great.
ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's really too bad. But whatever. I mean, he's just trying to make news, and that's what he does. So
yeah,
this happened like a month ago. I don't want to rehash it, but I just don't understand why Rotten Tomatoes gives him a voice. They should just shut him off.
Yeah.
If you don't like the movie, that's fine. Not everyone has to like everything, but to do it on purpose is wrong.
Yeah.
It's totally wrong.
Yeah, because you watched it as well, and you loved it.
Yeah, but I watched it in 2017, so it doesn't count towards mine.
Yeah. Basically, it's just a coming of age story about this girl who lives in California, and she wants to go to college out in like New England or whatever, but it's too expensive and blah blah blah.
Yeah, Saoirse Ronan, she's one of the best up and coming actresses out there, actress, whatever you want to say, out there. I loved her in Brooklyn. She is going to be a star. Or I guess she already is now, but she's going to be huge. She's going to win Oscars.
Yeah, I'd agree. Do you think she'll win an Oscar for this?
I don't know. She just won the Golden Globe, Best Actress, comedy musical. But Frances McDormand has been winning everything. So it's probably going to end up coming down to them, but I think McDormand's probably going to get it for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. But it could be a tight race. But,
yeah.
But you liked the movie, but you didn't love it.
Lady Bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say this. It's very well made, great acting, great script. It's not for me.
Okay.
I don't really enjoy, first of all, coming of age stories where the plot isn't very, like, whatever. And I also am not a big fan of talky movies, like sitting around and talking. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm an idiot that needs
fine.
a Michael Bay-esque explosion every 3 seconds, but I need more, basically is what I mean. I mean, it's a great movie. I just didn't, I don't know. I kind of dozed off in some parts.
This movie was made for me because I do love coming of age movies.
Yeah.
They're some of my favorite movies of all time, like American Pie. That's like, I debated whether to put that in my top 10 of all time, and I know people think it's dated or whatever, but, and, talkie movies, I guess if you want to call them that.
Yeah, you do love those.
Yeah, so it's definitely made for me. I don't know why I like coming of age movies so much. Maybe trying to...
Well, you like Wonder Years.
Oh, yeah, I love Wonder Years.
I mean, although I love Wonder Years too. And that's coming of age. I mean, it's a series, but...
Yeah. Yep.
Although, have you read Catcher in the Rye?
A long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah. I read that, and I love that. And that's coming of age, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's just... I don't know, maybe this specific movie, like... Spectacular Now, I don't know if you've seen that. That's another great coming of age movie.
I don't think so.
I don't know, there's obviously a bunch of them.
I mean, I guess even though Catcher in the Rye is also coming of age, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Like, guy goes to New York for a couple of days and is crazy. That's what I thought of Lady Bird. Great. I would recommend it if you like talking movies, but I guess that's it for stuff we saw. Do you want to move on to news?
Yeah, let's get to the news.
¿Cómo están, bitches? Spanish language news is here.
It may have been our first episode or second episode, I don't know, but we talked about how MoviePass had reached 1 million subscribers. Well, they just passed 1.5. That was pretty fast. It was like a month later, they went from 1 million to 1.5 million, which is incredible. I mean, this is just my theory, but I think it probably has a lot to do with Christmas. I think a lot of people gave it as gifts. They are still, as much as I love MoviePass, they're still having a lot of customer service issues. So,
yeah.
If you search MoviePass on Twitter, 90% of the tweets are of people complaining to customer service.
Yeah.
And if you do have problems, don't tweet directly to MoviePass. Tweet to at MoviePass_CS.
Customer support.
Yep, I've heard that they get back to you faster than other ones. And don't post your ticket or your email and stuff on Twitter. I saw somebody do that. They're an idiot. Wait for them to follow you because they will. It might take some time. Okay. When I signed up for MoviePass back in September, I believe. The day after they announced a $9.99 price.
Uh-huh.
And it took us a month to get the card, but
Yeah.
it is totally worth it. Don't give up. Even if they've charged you for a few months, you can make that up easily. Let's say it takes even like 3 months to get the card, okay? That's $30. You see 3 movies, in some cases 2 movies, depending on where you live, and that's your money,
Yeah.
Don't cancel it, don't give up, just keep going. We are not sponsored by MoviePass in any way, but I just love the service, and I'm a I'm not a spokesperson, not officially, but I'm a non-official spokesperson.
You support it.
Yeah, from MoviePass. So just don't give up.
Yeah.
That's the only bit of news we got this week. So let's get to the main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble!
First, we're going to talk about Downsizing. This movie pretty much bombed in theaters. But
really?
It was one of my most anticipated movies of the year.
I would agree.
I love the trailer, and I don't know what your history is with Alexander Payne, but I'm a huge fan of his. Mm-hmm. He wrote and directed Sideways, which is in my top 10 movies of all time. I watched it recently. It still holds up. It's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
He also wrote...
Talkie movie.
Yeah. He also wrote and directed Descendants, which is not in my top 10 or anything, but I also love that movie. So I was really looking forward to this. I mean, I love the trailer, Alexander Payne.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a winning combination with me.
Why don't we talk about what it is first? So basically, Matt Damon plays just this average guy that kind of lives in a poor neighborhood or whatever, working a crappy job. And he lives in a timeline where these like Scandinavian scientists in Europe discovered this way to shrink down, or I guess downsize, organic matter so they can make all these humans really tiny and stuff. And they look at it as a way to fight like overpopulation and stuff. And then basically Matt Damon, he goes through the process of downsizing, but then his wife doesn't go through with it.
That's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about spoilers here. During the main event, we're going to hit the spoilers because we've both seen these movies. Uh-huh. So if you want to watch these movies, I would recommend, watching them and then coming back to this part of the podcast.
Yeah. Always spoilers for the main event. And basically, after his wife leaves him, he has to go through this like journey of just... He's permanently downsized now, so he has to figure out what to do with himself.
A big point of the movie is that the inventors or creators of downsizing, they do it for overpopulation, but most people do it because it makes them wealthy.
Yeah, a life of luxury.
In the movie, they said that Kristen Wiig and Matt Damon's wealth is about, $150,000? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But that translates to like $12 million worth because everything is so small. They're shrunk down to 5 inches tall, and I forget what the percentage of their actual body size is, but
yeah.
So it takes like one piece of driftwood or something to make a house.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why it's worth so much more. Plus, you don't, how much are you going to eat if you're that big?
Exactly, and that was a big reason why it was so one of the most anticipated movies to us, because I've never heard of anything like this.
Yeah,
such a clever idea for a movie.
Yep. What did you think about the movie?
I actually liked it.
Yeah.
It was not what I was expecting from what I saw in the trailer, which is kind of a good thing. I thought there was going to be a lot more gimmicky, like, this object is really big now, but there wasn't that much. It was more of a drama. Like, it focused more on like Matt Damon going through his life rather than tiny stuff, tiny jokes.
There definitely was humor in it.
Yes,
but I definitely say it's more of a drama than a comedy. And
yeah.
That was one of the problems a lot of people had, is that it is being marketed as a comedy.
It is.
But it's definitely a dramedy with heavy on the drama.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed when I was getting into the film, because the trailer definitely markets it as a comedy, but as you go along, you're like, wow, this is actually really heavy stuff.
Yeah. One of the rules we also have on the podcast is absolutely no politics.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about politics. It's just when I want to listen to people talk about movies, I don't care about their politics, and I'm sure you don't care about mine.
Exactly.
So we're not going to talk about politics. Now, this movie is heavy on the political themes.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to just talk about them generally without giving, like, our opinions and stuff. I mean...
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was really weird. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Which is always good. I mean, when you're not expecting something, I always love that when it happens.
Yeah, exactly. I liked Matt Damon as just like the average guy. I thought he played a middle-aged depressed man very well.
Yeah.
And then I also liked the Vietnamese character. I don't remember.
Yeah, she's Chinese. Her name is Hong Chow. Mm-hmm. She was actually nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the Golden Globes. She didn't win, but that was Downsizing only nomination.
Yeah. I definitely thought she deserved a nomination. Again, going back to the not expecting, I definitely didn't expect a Vietnamese supporting character. I thought that was great. She was really funny.
Yeah,
a lot
Christoph
of comedic
Waltz
timing.
was good in it too.
Oh yeah,
I didn't have a problem with any of the performances. Mm-hmm. And getting back to the political themes, immigration is big.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not going to talk about our personal beliefs here, but it's very heavy-handed on immigration.
Yeah. Like there's a scene where you think it's a life of luxury, but then a lot of minorities in the film are living in like poverty or whatever.
Yeah, that was a huge theme too. The fact that it's the same relationship between income inequality.
Yeah.
For the regular sized people and the downsized people.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge theme of the movie too. The fact that you think everyone that downsizes is going to be rich, but that's not true at all.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that are poor and are hungry and don't have a place to live or don't have enough to eat.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we talked about when we all saw the trailer, because we thought, well, if they're all living in luxury, how are they, like, who's cleaning the houses, who's building the houses, all that stuff, and it shows that in the movie, which is great. Well, you haven't really come out and say, what did you think?
I liked the movie. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. I didn't love it.
Uh-huh.
For me, 2.5 stars is a movie I don't like, but I don't absolutely hate. 3 stars is a movie that I like barely.
Yeah, I can get that. I can see that with this movie, definitely.
My problem was that I think while I was watching it, I was thinking that Alexander Payne was going to try and make this like a franchise. Because he spent a lot of time world building.
Yeah.
And I would have rather have them get to the story. I mean, we get the point of the downsizing.
Like immediately.
Yeah, but you don't even get to the plot of the movie until like an hour and a half in.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The real plot of the movie, which is there's this group of people that want to shrink themselves down, or they already shrunk themselves down, and they're going like 10 miles, or what was it? I forget how far below the earth. And they're going to build a civilization down there because they believe that
the world is ending.
The world is ending within the next few hundred years. They said they'd have to stay down there for 8,000 years. So their descendants and descendants and descendants after 8,000 years would eventually come back up, and there wouldn't be any humans left at that point.
Yeah.
That's the real plot of the movie. And Matt Damon's debating whether he's going to go down there or not.
Yeah, whether to join them or to stay with the Vietnamese woman.
Yeah, but we don't get to any of that until, like I said,
really far into the movie.
Yeah.
I don't even think they got downsized for at least like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was another, like, I don't want to blame anybody for this, but you knew from the trailer that Kristen Wiig is leaving Matt Damon. That's in the trailer, right? Mm-hmm. But they tried to make a huge surprise of the movie. Like, oh my God, yeah. Kristen Wiig left him, but everyone already knew that was going to happen. Not just the trailer, even in the commercials.
Yeah.
You could see that coming too, because Kristen Wiig wasn't second billed, and she's a fairly big movie star now.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz is second billed, and he's barely in the trailer.
Yeah.
So you knew he was going to have a bigger part. And he plays this kind of weird guy, not even really sure what he does. He sells things that are supposed to be illegal to the downsized people. Mm-hmm. And
he's just this like weird hippie rich guy, kind of.
That was another plot point that I found confusing. that suddenly he just becomes like Matt Damon's best friend.
Yeah.
And takes him on this journey for like no reason. Like
that was really weird.
Because Christoph Waltz knew the original guy that created the downsizing formula. And that was the guy and his followers that were going to go underground. So that was...
Yeah, and Christoph Waltz didn't even join them. I thought the whole point of the trip was like it was just a vacation for Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, there was no point of the thing. I guess maybe he just wanted to see him one last time before they went underground.
Went away, yeah. And also there, I don't know if you remember this, there was the character of like the founder's sister.
Okay.
And like there was this like maybe not big reveal, but she like shows up and I was like, okay, she's just going to be a gimmicky character, and she shows up and she's all excited and whatever. And she's there for like 5 minutes and then she's gone. That was so weird.
Maybe she had some deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Because the movie is a little bit long too.
Yeah.
2 hours and 20 minutes, I believe, or
yeah.
So
something like that. Yeah, you barely liked it. I overlooked a lot of those plot points because I went in with an open mind, even though I liked the trailer, so I liked it a little better, I guess. We both gave it 3 stars, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, it sounds like you judge things maybe a little bit different than
I definitely do. There are a lot of movies that you put at 4 stars that I put at like 3 stars or something.
Yeah, I've been kind of generous on my star giving lately.
Yeah, you definitely are.
But so yeah, I mean, I like the performances. I love the idea.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't really.
It wasn't executed.
Yeah, and like I said, with the world building, I really felt like he was going for a franchise, but
doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No. It has a C on CinemaScore, which is
I
really
noticed
bad.
That. Yeah.
CinemaScore is the company that interviews people on opening night, right as they hand out these little ballots to people before the movie starts. You don't need a pen or anything. You just like punch out things, and then they give them back to them after the movie. And a C is really bad.
Yeah.
So what a CinemaScore usually equates to is word of mouth. So, like for example, Greatest Showman. That kind of started off a little slow, but that has an A CinemaScore, and it's gotten stronger in the theaters because I've seen it and I tell people to go watch it. It has strong word of mouth, but I haven't told anybody to go watch Downsizing.
Yeah.
And it's not that I hated it; it's just that it was disappointing.
It's got a lot of exactly, disappointing.
Yeah,
that's what we'll say. So. I don't know. It's a gamble. If you really like the trailer, go watch it, I guess. I don't know. But if you're on the fence, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, or watch it on streaming or rent at Redbox if anybody does those anymore.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie you do not have to see in the theaters, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Any other thoughts on Downsizing?
No, I guess that's about it. We can move on to Jumanji now.
All right. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. The sequel that nobody asked for.
Yeah, exactly. The Solus brand.
Yeah.
Rob.
I'm going to say I actually enjoyed this movie. My expectations were not great.
That actually surprises me that you enjoyed it.
Well, it's not a great movie. There's no doubt about that, okay?
Yes.
It has a lot of problems.
Uh-huh.
And I actually think the first one is overrated too. I love Robin Williams, but I was watching it and I just thought, like, I watched Jumanji maybe a year ago for the first time ever, and I thought it was kind of boring,
Oh, what? You've never seen Jumanji before that?
No. It didn't really interest me. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
So this one's a little bit different. It's a video game that these punk kids find in a basement.
Now, it's Sony, right?
Yeah, Sony.
Yeah, this definitely makes sense. Sony's been raking in the money lately. I mean, the Emoji Movie, they have Slender Man coming out soon. Now, we all know why they made it a video game. Because little kids on their stupid iPads see the trailer and they say, whoa, video game, and then they go see it.
Yeah.
Because other than that, there's no reason. I mean, it was a board game in the original one. Why make it a video game?
Yeah, in this one, there's a scene where, again, this is going to be spoiler-filled, the board game suddenly transforms into a video game. There's no explanation for it or anything, but it just happens.
Yep.
It makes like this weird sound, and then
there's flashing green lights.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yep. So, here's the thing. Okay, I know this isn't a great movie.
Uh-huh.
But I just felt like it was a lot of fun. I thought Jack Black was funny.
Jack Black was great.
He plays a girl, like a very vain,
teenage girl.
Well, first of all the characters, when they play the game, they're like sucked into the video game.
Yeah.
And they're playing as whatever avatars they chose. So the girl that chose Jack Black's character, his name was Shelley, or the character's name was Shelley. She thought it was a girl, but his name was actually Sheldon. So that's how he got Jack Black, and he was funny. And I like Kevin Hart, and I'm all in on The Rock. I think he's like one of the most charismatic actors out in Hollywood right now. Mm-hmm. So, I think that was a big part of why I like the movie. I like Karen Gillan, too. She's in Guardians of the Galaxy. I know a lot of people know her from Doctor Who, but I never got into that show.
Yeah.
So I really like, I'm not a huge Jack Black fan at all.
Really?
But I really liked him in this movie. And so, I like all four actors. I think that's one of the big reasons that I ended up liking the movie. Mm-hmm. Even though, like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. This isn't a great movie. Like the beginning and ends where you have to...
sit through the teenagers talking.
We had to... The obligatory scenes where you have to know who the characters are. Otherwise... I mean, you just have to do it. There's no other way around it. You have to learn who these four characters are.
In my notes, I wrote these notes back when I watched it like a couple days ago, and it's bringing back memories. The first note I wrote was, beginning is so terrible.
Yeah.
15 minutes too long. Guess how long the intro was?
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You can tell that it's 50-year-old writers sitting in a room, banging their fists on table, like, how the hell do teenagers act?
Yeah.
There's so many stereotypes. It's like, just write them like human beings.
Twitter.
Exactly. It's terrible. The scene where the teenage girl's sitting in the schoolroom on her phone, FaceTiming or whatever, it's like, just end it. Just tell us who these stupid teenagers are and get to The Rock already. We don't care. So terrible.
I know. I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. Unfortunately, there's no way. If you're going to do this story like this, you have to
get through it.
You have to tell who these kids are. And then you have to do another end scene that's just as bad. Because once they beat the game, then they go back to the normal forms. So
so basically, you have to get through the exposition, but you didn't have to do the stupid, typical teenager stuff.
Yeah.
But after that, I wrote, it definitely gets way more tolerable the second they get into the video game. When we're done with the whole teenagers, and it gets to the main cast.
There's stuff I really liked. Like, Jack Black's character gets killed in, the first couple minutes, which is great.
Yeah,
because it was unexpected. Although it's pretty obvious, they have tattoos in their arm for their lives.
They're like, what are these tattoos?
I know.
Gee, I don't know. Yeah. And it took a while for them to explain that. Jack Black dies, and then they have the tattoo thing, and you're like, oh, this is where they're going to explain it. But then they don't explain it for another, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
And the funniest part of the movie, in my opinion, is when... they show their weaknesses, right? Like in a video game. Kevin Hart's weaknesses is cake.
Yeah.
So this is in the trailer, unfortunately, but he eats a piece of cake and he blows up and loses one of his lives. That would have been hilarious if you hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
But it's coming.
That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you. I also love The Rock, but he just didn't do it for me in this movie. I thought his character was just pure exposition.
Yeah.
He was the guy that knew everything. Whenever the cast had a problem, he's like, wait, what if it's this guy's?
Actually, you know what? I know this is contradictory, but... Well, I guess it's not contradictory, but that's one of the things I actually liked about the movie.
Oh, really?
Was the meta stuff. They know that they're in a video game, and they make it obvious that, they tell the audience and everything as exposition, but I actually like that aspect of it. They know that they're in a video game, so it's really meta, Jack Black's character is a cartographer, so he's the only one that can see the map. It's blank.
Well, yeah, I like that stuff.
Yeah. But also them figuring out when you're playing a video game, let's say you go talk to a character, right? And they say something to you, right? And then you talk to them again and they say the exact same thing, so it's time to move on. That happens several times in the game, or in the movie, and I really like that type of stuff. So
yeah, I'd agree.
The meta stuff. And the characters, or the actors, stuff I really liked. And, not only although we knew about the friggin' Kevin Hart cake thing, but Jack Black's character being killed, And then there's a kissing scene towards the end, which I thought was great because, although I think Dwayne Johnson is a lot older than Karen Gillan, so it's a little weird. But
well, basically, it's two awkward teenagers in the body of these like super attractive like rockin' body but they're awkward teenagers. So when they kiss, it's like really awkward.
And they've never kissed anybody before, so it's a really awkward kiss, which I thought was great too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't know this. Apparently Nick Jonas was in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that was in the trailer. Or was it? It might have been. Either way,
I don't remember.
I didn't know he was in it, and I thought he was great.
Yeah, he was unexpected. Although I think I had heard he was in it, so I don't know if he was in the trailer. So.
Yeah. Either way, very unexpected.
You know it was somebody because
there was that fifth character.
Yeah, right. Plus, there was a kid at the beginning of the movie that disappeared.
So you knew someone was going to be in there.
He was in the game for 20 years, which was ridiculous because one of his weaknesses was mosquito. So his mosquito bite could kill him. He lived in the jungle for 20 years and never got bit by a mosquito.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty stupid.
Oh yeah, every time I did this thing in my notes where every time Jack Black was funny, I would write, Jack Black is pretty funny. And there's a sequence where I wrote it 2 times in a row. Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely love Jack Black. The whole gimmick of, like, a middle-aged man portrayed as a teenage girl. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he was great.
Especially the scene where Jack Black has to go pee, but it's like a teenage girl.
My brother had wanted to see it, and he had heard from somebody that Jack Black is hilarious in it, and I was like, nah, I don't think so.
Really? You don't like Jack Black?
No, I'm not a huge fan of his. For me, he's like Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell is hugely hit or miss, and I think that's about Jack Black too.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
So, but I actually thought Jack Black was great in the movie. I thought he was hilarious. I was laughing out loud.
The villain, I wrote that the villain is really generic and boring, but it works because it's a video game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just whatever. It's just generic bad guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a video game, so it doesn't matter.
He was played by Bobby Cannavale. He's a big character actor now. Been on some HBO shows.
Yeah.
He played the villain. The main baddie.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
What else can we say, really?
I don't know. Okay,
I'll say this. So, you and I are definitely different because I went into this movie knowing I was not going to like it, and then I was pleasantly surprised. Okay. I think you went in more open-minded. It's clearly just a soulless cash grab. They're like, all right, people like Jumanji, let's just pop into the hat of the IP that we have, and we'll just use that. It has nothing to do with Jumanji. But honestly, after seeing it, it's fine. You know it's just soulless, corporate, whatever, but it's fine.
It's been a force at the box office. It's made over $200 million. I think it's almost up to $250 now. Domestic, $600 million worldwide. And it came around at the right time. It's even though it was competing with Star Wars, a lot of people
thought it was gonna like bomb because of Star Wars.
Not bomb, but I mean
do not as good.
Different audience.
That's true.
And people aren't seeing Star Wars: The Last Jedi as much as they saw Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Like Force Awakens made $900 million. The Last Jedi is probably going to top out around $700, which is still pretty good. But so this is a movie that, even though it's PG-13, it's pretty much you can see it with your family. There's a few adult jokes in it. Mm-hmm. In fact, one of them, there was a mother and father and a little kid sitting behind us in the movies, and there's a scene where Jack Black hugs Nick Jonas. Remember, Jack Black's character is a teenage girl, and he gets excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. And so they kind of joke about it in the movie, and the little kid behind us asks his mom, "What just happened, Mommy?" And she says, "Ask your daddy when we get home."
Oh, God.
And the kid's like 7 years old. That was hilarious.
Yeah. I guess basically, I don't know. I thought some parts were funny, but to me, it's just a corporate whatever. I didn't like that much.
Well, my expectations were pretty low.
Yeah, that's true.
I probably would not have seen it without MoviePass. I don't think I would have paid $13 to see it, but and so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, if you like The Rock, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, you'll like it.
Anything else on Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle?
No, I guess that's about it.
All right, that wraps up the main event. We're going to wrap up by talking about a few movies we're looking forward to watching. Noah, what are you going to try and watch for our next show?
I've already seen I, Tonya, but you haven't.
Nope, I'm definitely going to watch that.
So we're going to talk about that, probably for the main event. And then I'm going to see Shape of Water.
Okay.
Because you recommend it so highly.
Yep.
And is that about it?
Yeah, I'm going to watch I, Tonya 2. I'm definitely going to watch Paddington 2. I loved Paddington 1. It was that movie, I rented it for Redbox, and I started watching it. I was on my phone, and I'm like, I just wanted to watch it in the background. But I loved it. I got into it. I put the phone down, watched it, really invested in it. It's my top 10 of that year. I think it was 2015 or 2014. And this movie is getting rave reviews. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Hugh Grant was nominated for a British Oscar for Paddington 2. Let me repeat that. Hugh Grant was nominated for a British Oscar for Paddington 2.
The BAFTAs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, I do want to watch Phantom Thread, but it's not playing anywhere around here, so I don't think I'm going to be able to see it. But I really want to watch that too. All right, so you can find us on Twitter at the MoviePass Pod, Facebook, facebook.com/themoviepasspod. Our website is themoviepasspod.podbean.com. You can also find me on Letterboxd at letterboxd.com/KeithNH72. You can follow along our journey for MoviePass there.
Mm-hmm. And you can find me. I'm Nojo Swag, Nojo Swag.
Okay. So far, I've watched 4 movies for this goal. Noah?
Yeah, I believe I've watched 4 as well.
Okay. All right, so 4 down, 96 to go. We'll see you next time.
See ya.